Hi, it's Jack Elliott. Sorry, I wanted to do that. This class has been amazing for so many reasons. I probably can't even get into a fraction of them here. But I figured as a music teacher myself with upwards of 36 private students currently, I could offer maybe a somewhat unique perspective on the things that I particularly enjoyed about this class. I come from more of an instrumental background, so I have a lot of formal training when it comes to composition and music theory. I am the biggest music theory nerd I've met. But production has been largely self-taught, and I just kind of figure out things on my own. So that was the big thing I was really excited about for this class, was to gain from the production, but also having an open mind to gain all kinds of other tricks from a songwriter and a musician that I've really been a fan of for a long time, at least since I was in college. From that standpoint, there was very much an element of being excited to learn from someone that you've really looked up to for a very long time. But aside from all of that, from a purely technical standpoint and a pedagogical standpoint, it was extremely reaffirming with the things that I do have a lot of experience with, seeing Andrew explain the concepts and teach the music theory concepts and the songwriting and the lyrical workshopping techniques in an extremely similar way to how I work on them with my own students compared to other colleagues that I work with. So that was maybe a little bit of an ego boost for me, but also extremely reassuring. That being said, each lesson seems to start with him starting from a place where I would start, but then taking it several steps further from a technical standpoint or a workshopping standpoint. So there were always little tidbits and little nuggets of genius that I would steal and get really excited about. Things like using a spider chart to workshop your lyrics rather than just putting them on a list like I would do before. The really visual nature of the spider chart made it easier to draw more interesting connections between different ideas, which very much streamlines the process of brainstorming ideas and spitballing different ideas. And the idea that the more specific a song is, the easier it is for people to connect to, seems maybe fairly obvious now, retrospectively looking back on it, but that was an earth-shattering realization for me that I hadn't thought of before. So all of these little things, on top of the immense amount of just technical know-how that I gained from it, was really valuable and really, really helpful. Aside from Andrew's teaching, the structure of the class in general was extremely beneficial to just the whole process of the entire class. The platform of the website and the organization monthly is very much a supportive community building mindset, which is really exciting. There was never any negative feedback from the class, the website, or the people in the class, the other peers that I was working with in the peer group we got to share our songs with. There was never any overly negative attitude about you missed a due date. You know, you you didn't turn in your paper on time, so you failed and you get a big F and you're kicked out of the class. It was more about supporting everybody, and even if you're a little late, like, it's about self-discovery and gaining things, finding things in yourself to improve upon rather than doing something because somebody tells you to, which is so much better than the educational environments that I've been in previously. So that was a big plus. The class has been over for just over a week now, and I've already written 4 more songs and started several more instrumental, like hip-hop beats or EDM, more dancey, dubsteppy kind of stuff. I've started a ton more things and just been really inspired from what I've gained from the class and wanting to keep playing with all of these new ideas and techniques and pushing them further. The other day I made a really chill, jazzy, lo-fi hip-hop kind of beat, which is maybe my favorite beat I've ever made so far. So that's pretty cool. I would say that this class is very much for driven, self-motivated people because of how loosely structured a lot of the elements of the class are. If you're not someone who's already actively seeking out new information and working on yourself and learning to better yourself, then the feeling of being a fly on the wall while someone with an insane amount of experience and know-how is writing a song in front of you might feel boring or lacking of direction, potentially. But if you're someone who is already looking for more information and more things to work on, there is every few minutes in every single one of these lessons, there is a new thing for you to gain, but you have to find it yourself. And then you have to apply it to your own songwriting and your own mixing and your own mastering, your own production, all of those elements of it, which works really well for me. And I think, I can't speak for everybody, but I think most everyone else in the class felt the same way. The really motivated, driven people gained a lot from the class. But if you don't personally put a lot into the class, then you're probably not going to get a lot out of it, which frankly is the case most of the time. But through standardized education, for lack of a better word, that sometimes gets ignored or overlooked because you can just finish a test and then be done with it. And this is not that. This is very much about self-discovery. If Andrew were to do another one of these classes, I would absolutely take it. And I don't know, maybe if you could do like an even more advanced thing where you get into even more nitpicky detail kind of things would be really cool. But regardless, this was a fantastic class from beginning to end, and I would highly recommend it to every single one of my music friends and students for that matter. It was just an all-around great experience. So yeah, thank you so much. Bye.
I'm floating at the surface with a green skin tea, drowning but determined not to swim. Nowhere to go with no one to show. I'm scared to dive alone.